Hi, I'm Michael Lopez, and this is HackTheFile. Today, we're going to talk about where you can learn how to program for cheap and efficiently. Enjoy. All right, so like I said, I don't know what's going on with this Clip Champ. It's still in its beta, so it won't let me do any screen and camera recordings, which is fine. You guys know what my mug looks like. Um, so I'm not concerned about that, but what I want to do is I want to give you guys a chance to benefit from my my strategy for learning how to program. So basically, my background wasn't in programming. My background was in electrical, and uh, when I was told if I wanted to move into a programming position, I had to learn how to program. And so some of my options were go and get a computer science degree, which I didn't want to do that. Didn't have the money, nor did I have the time, right? Um, to pursue another degree like that at that time. Okay, this was many years ago, and so I started looking into if I could just take certain classes like intro to CS or intro to programming or stuff, but you can't really do that unless you enroll into a program in most colleges, right? And I couldn't find any colleges online or even in the physical right here and where I was at that allowed me to do that, to just to take computer programming 101. And you would think that the world would make it easier for people, but that's just the way everything is. It's all money based and greedy and stuff. So and I'm sure you can go and you can, there's a lot of free websites on there that you can go and take something and then get a certificate of completion, but you don't know how well those, like the reputation, you don't know how well they're put together. You don't know if you're going to actually learn anything, and those don't hold weight. So when you present that to your employer and go, yeah, I know how to program, look, I went online to this site and I know how to program a little bit now, so let's do it. And it doesn't really hold weight because it's not, most of them aren't tied to a educational institution or any or they don't have no credibility, right? And or you might as well just say, yeah, I learned how to program, I taught myself how to program through C Sharp 101, the book, and that's fine to do that when you already have the credentials, right? And you want to learn, let's say I already know how to program in C Sharp because I went to school or whatever, got a degree, or I got some kind of knowledge and training, right? Accredited, right? And then I went and I was like, I want to learn how to do Python, and then you go buy the Python for Beginners book, and then you teach yourself. People will accept that a little bit more because they're like, well, he already knew how to program, and then he went and got the book, and now he knows how to do Python, which is literally where I'm at now, right? That's what I do now when I want to learn a new language. I actually go to this place I'm about to show you right now. So, or I'll buy the book, but sometimes finding the right book is hard, right? Okay, so now I'm going to get into what I did. So your third option, okay, is something like this. So okay, so this is from the College of Eastern Idaho, right? And this is in where I'm at. Okay, so if you want the link, the URL, it's right here. Okay, so just College of Eastern Idaho and in Idaho, and when you go on their website, and I'll post this link when I get to the actual link. I'll post it in the video. Okay, so this is through the college, and what you do is, instead of going in here and program a study, you can do all this, right? This is a community college, okay? So I'm going to come over here to workforce training and continuing education. So the key word here is continuing education, right? So they have these programs in here that are really awesome. They're accredited and they're from, they're tied to the colleges and stuff, and they're called Ed2Go, right? And they're what they do is they're called career advancement classes for people that already have a career. Let's say, I was an electrical engineering technician. If I take, their classes, this is a new website. I haven't checked this out, but we're gonna find it. Look, cyber and tech, but this is so I'm probably gonna go over here, online learning, right? Yeah. Okay, so and then it's got all this stuff here. So here we're gonna go to programming. Okay, computer and technology programming. So these are not classes that you sign up for and then you go in into the college and you pay $5,000. These aren't little boot camps, okay? So they do have those, and I can show you another section where they have them, but these aren't boot camps or anything like that. So don't think they're boot camps or anything. They're not expensive. These are really affordable, but they're individual classes. Like, you can type up anything in this search here and come up with anything. So here's their programming class, right? They got advanced SQL, they've got intermediate SQL. So now let's go to show all programming. Okay, so actually I don't know if this is the right one, but we'll go to search and I'll put in C#, right? Let's go C#. Let's go to C# real quick and then see what happens, and then let's see if we can put in, see what happens over here. So see how this says CAI Cybersecurity Bootcamp? So this is an actual boot camp that you can get on here, and you're gonna pay $3,950. But if you want to get into cybersecurity and you don't want to spend too much money or too much time, this boot camp is probably really good. It's going to teach you what you need to know to maybe get an entry-level position. But we're not going to look at boot camps, okay? So we're going to look at so I don't even know, this isn't the right directory, okay? But we're going to come out here, and actually I'm going to close this. I'm going to start again. So personal enrichment, I think, is what more we're looking for, right? Okay, yeah, so this is more what we're looking for, personal enrichment. So you're gonna come in here, I'm gonna put programming.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. And I don't know if I can spell right. Okay, programming. So now go. Man, see, this is a new site. I haven't been on here in a long time. So let's. This is completely different. So we're gonna do I don't care. Okay, so we're gonna do personal. I'm sorry. We're gonna do instructor-led courses. So the courses are gonna be led by instructors. So these, yeah, workforce training, continuing education. So here I'm going to type in C#, and once I get the right link, I haven't been on here in a while, I'll post it. Okay, we're going to come here. So that's kind of weird. Oh man, let's see. Okay, alright, here we go. So I found it. So alright, I had to get off real quick and then come back on. I had somebody text me something important. Okay, so I'm back though. Here, see how this says C# programming series? So, and this is it gives you 48 hours of course hours, right? And so we're just going to go in here in the bundle, right? And it says C# programming series, develop an understanding of programming using C# with vivid real-life examples and plenty of hands-on practice. Almost every lesson throughout this series includes practical examples and assignments you can use to hone your C# programming skills. By the end of the series, you will be able to develop a professional-looking and interactive GUI. Now, this is for just talking about interactive GUI. That's for like the intermediate one, okay? So we'll go through here and we'll go through their structure, right? And so here's the price. Looks instructor-led, and it's an actual. So I'm gonna go through this, and it's really awesome if you bear in mind, if you bear with me to the end of this video and watch this. I think it's worthwhile for anybody that has no software experience at all. You don't even. So when I took this class, I was an electrical technician, and I used to see the software engineers come in and work on code on my hardware that I just set up. And I used to sit there and watch them, and I swear, and if anybody knows what code looks like, you don't know what the hell you're looking at, okay? You don't know what you're looking at when you look at it and you have no clue how to read it. You're looking at it and you're going, man, is that code? And you're trying to figure out, but you don't know it. You don't know a damn thing, okay? I don't care. Especially if you've never even thought about code, you've never read a book, you never looked at it, and that's the first time you're looking at it. It's like reading hieroglyphics, okay? You're not gonna know what you're looking at all. Okay, so that's where I was at. So when you're at that level, these classes are great, because these classes, and I'm gonna go through the lessons. So here's lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. I'm gonna try to keep this in under 30 minutes, but so I'm gonna go through these lessons real quick. But so these lessons are awesome because they start you off with first talking about a computer. Like, what is a computer? Not even code. Like, what is a computer first? How does it work? But not too much. It's just perfect amount, right? So you can get a little taste of what you're doing. And so we're going to read this real quick, the introduction to C, and this is going to break down intermediate. So this one is actually a bundle for $225. These by themselves, like introduction to C# programming by itself is like $100, and then like 120 or something, right? They give you a discount if you get both of them. And then your intermediate C# is it's going to be the same thing, right? So and here's what's cool. So if you think about this and you go, that's stupid, they're probably not worth anything, or they're probably like they give you a year to do it. They don't. So if it's instructor led, you start on a certain date. So you start November 16th, and then you end on December, and then you start another one. Oh, I'm sorry, November 16th, November, December, and you end on December, and then you start the other class in January, and you end on February. And
okay, let's go.
But you can choose actually, this is choose your start date. So you can choose to start them, and they're 8 weeks. Okay, so I read that wrong. So this is your start date. So you can start this one, this one, this one, this one, and they're 8 weeks, and you have homework every week. So it's not like you can't be late. You can't do whatever you want. You have to turn your homework in, and it's not homework, but it's more like your assignments. Like you have to complete chapters, and then you have to do your quizzes and stuff like that by certain dates, and you only have 8 to 10 weeks, I think, to finish it, right? And you got 12 chapters, and then at the end you have to take a final, and you have to get, I think, like 80%. Like you have to have an 80% or higher to pass. I think, I don't know if it's 80 or 70. I know you have to have a high score on your final, and it's open book, right? Because you have all the material, but you still have to pass that to get your 48 course hours, and then your certificate of completion through workforce training and continuing education. So it's actually accredited. It's really cool, and you actually learn. Okay, so if you look at this first one, it says you'll first develop your understanding of programming fundamentals, inputs, output operations, decision making, looping. Then you will explore many benefits of object-oriented programming with plenty of vivid real-life examples. So one of the examples on here I had to do is I had to build a calendar, right? I had to write program for a calendar. I had to write program for a clock. I had to write program for so basic stuff like that, but it teaches you, and it's actually kind of hard, if for beginners. But so then you'll gain a hands-on experience with sequential data files, and you'll learn, and you'll be able to build a professional-looking and graphical user interface. So this might have changed because this used to be down here on mine. So because there's no better way to learn programming than hands-on practice, almost every lesson includes practical examples and assignments. You can develop your own knowledge of programming. Learn to program the right way by using state-of-the-art language and build impressive applications on your schedule and your very own computer. So, and here's intermediate. And intermediate's going to go deeper into it, and then you're going to be able to use the toolbox and all that stuff, and do back end to front end programming, and you can, and this teaches how to create it from scratch, right? So and it uses Visual Studio and all that stuff. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you will if you take this program. Right? And these guys, I don't have no investment in this. Okay, these guys aren't paying me or anything. I'm just showing you guys a great resource that I think a lot of people don't know about, and this helps programmers. This helps cybersecurity people. So cybersecurity people are like, man, they don't make us take a lot of programming classes. Okay, so you might take an intro, you might take like applied programming, right? And then it's like, that's just like saying computer science 101 class, right? But the difference is they're going to teach you Python, because Python is basically a hacking script language. But like I said, it's a script language. So so you'll be probably able to pick up like HTML5 and CSS and all those, and JavaScript maybe, I don't know, if you can read Python and all that. You might pick up anything after that. But C# and C+ is I think where you need to start, because these are the harder languages, right? And once you know how to program in these ones, then you can go and learn Python and all that. But if you know Python and then you come over here and you try to learn this, you might be all right, but I don't think so, because this stuff is a little bit different. Okay, it's structured different. But anyways, so that's neither here nor there. I'm going too far into that. But what I'm saying is, in cybersecurity, if you at the end, when you're like, man, I wish I really could have some actual programming skills, these are the classes you need to take. And then you need to practice all the assignments constantly, and then you can go from there. Then you can go to the books and practice their stuff. So the prerequisites. Okay, this is the cool part right here too. Okay, so your instructor, right? This one tells you who your instructor is. Your instructor is the one that created this program. Okay, and he might not be teaching it, or he might. I don't know. I don't remember, but I know that he wrote the program. Okay, so it's written by him, and I've taken so many classes in this that you can tell that they wrote it, because they, like for one guy wrote it, and he put his book in there that he wrote too, and he was using his book as an example. So this is so this one is written by Mike Ortega. He has a bachelor's degree in physics from Pennsylvania State University and a master's degree in applied math from the University of Georgia. So you know a little bit about them, right? They're legit. He is currently working on a PhD in computer science at the University of Tennessee. Now, this might be a little outdated. He might already have it already. Mike teaches programming both online and in the classroom, and has more than 5 years of online teaching experience. Because I remember when I took this like 4 years ago, he was working on his PhD. Okay, years of online teaching experience, and subject ranging from basic computer literacy to C# and Alice programming. So this guy, I don't know if he's the one that's actually teaching the course, but he's the one that structured it, put it together. So here's your details and your requirements, and then your instructor. So you can even do it firm, so you can even get this to where you don't even have to pay this up front. You can pay it $20, $21 a month with credit, and that's new. See, that's new. That wasn't there before. See? Anyways, so I've completed. I can show you all the classes I've completed on this. It's just ridiculous. So I'll go to my classroom, right? And I'm saying, man, you can't see that. Oh, don't look at the email. You can look at my email. Everybody. Okay, so I'm not showing you guys anything. Nah. So bundle certificates, front end development suite. Yes, front end development suite. I don't remember doing that. Maybe. Introduction to Python 3 programming. Basic CompTIA certification. Certificate in meditation. I took that one just for fun. See, they got all kinds of cool stuff, right? And so I've taken 1, 2, responsive web design. That was a great one. Helped me learn how to make websites responsive when you're going from um, different sizes of screens and stuff. That's important. You don't want to open up an app on your phone and it doesn't work right? So that's what responsive web design was, and I learned a lot from that. That was a great class. Intro to JavaScript. So this taught me how to write in JavaScript. Introduction in CSS3 and HTML5. I know how to write in that.
Okay, let's go.
Intro to Java programming. I know Java. This is lightning fast meals because I'm fat. I gotta lose weight. Wireless networking. Taught me about wireless networking. Intermediate networking. Introduction to networking. So these aren't college classes, okay? But these are all stuff that gets you into it, and then you have knowledge of it, and then you can maybe go on an interview and say, hey, I know about this, I know about that. And you got keyboarding. I was trying to learn how to keyboard. I suck at it still, but I still have the program that they give you for free with the class. Intermediate C#, introduction to C#, introduction to C++. So I've taken a lot of programming classes, and CompTIA, introduction to Python and all that. This one I didn't even finish. See how it doesn't say certificate? I didn't finish these ones. What I did was I printed off the material, and that's another thing. You can save all this material, right? So the ones that say certificate is the ones that I actually completed. Like I didn't complete that one. I didn't complete Java, but I downloaded it all and then I referenced it, right? But responsive web design, I finished it. I just didn't take the final, but you don't have to. I have the material and I have it for myself, and I own it. I paid for it, and I can reference it whenever I want. These are the only ones that I had to make sure that when I was getting the software position that I passed, and I showed my work that I had the certificate. So we'll look at this certificate and what they look like, right? And we'll open the file. And so this is what the certificates look like, right? Education to go, instructor facilitated online learning, certificate of completion. This is served by Michael Lopez, essentially completed the title Intermediate C# programming. And then it said I completed on February 25th, 2018. This was this is years ago, right? 18, 19, 20, 21, about 4 years ago. I got 24 hours of training as your official seal of excellence. This is a great little tool, right? And I continually go to this site, right? And look up stuff that I want to learn. Like I said, meditation. I took a meditation course and I passed it. It's just to help me meditate, and I've been practicing how to meditate off and on for many years now, and it has helped me. So these are the kind of courses that so let's skip that, and then let's just go to so lesson 1, right? So these are the lessons you're gonna get. So lesson 1, computer basics and the history of programming. Introduction. Hello, welcome to C# program for the absolute beginner. See, that's the key word. My name is Mike Ortega. See, so Mike Ortega wrote all this, and he's gonna go through his educational background and all the languages he knows and everything about that. His back, to reassure you that you're gonna learn something actually. Okay, then it goes to hardware and software. So physical equipment, and it's gonna teach you about hardware and software, probably at an 8th grade level, right? So everybody can understand it. Hardware, many different devices in your computer's hardware. These devices can be broken into 5 input, output, central processing, memory, and storage. He's talking about the hardware and software on a computer. Okay, he's going to go through input devices, allow you to do whatever. He's going to go through your output devices. Okay, and he's going to talk about RAM. So when I first started this, I did not know about RAM. I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't know what RAM was, how it functioned, and all that, because I was into electrical. We didn't really care about computers, But if you ask me about electrical stuff, and I would know, right? So this tells you that it's memory. That sometimes we use the terms memory and storage, However, they really are two different things. Memory is direct connection to CPU. Often people refer to it as RAM. So, and it tells you it's volatile memory, so you're going to learn that. That's very important. Volatile memory and all that. That it's temporary and stuff. So she goes through. I mean, this is a great intro to, and this has nothing to do with programming, right? So, I mean, it does. It's because of the computer, but he wants us. They start you off, and all these courses are like this. They start you off with the basics of the computer or what you're learning on or whatever you're learning. The start, algorithms and flowcharts. So I mean, so if you look here, when I got my job, when I started to look at the software engineering process first, the first thing that they didn't really let me mess with too many code, right? Too much code. They gave me a couple little to look at the code and make some corrections and stuff after I graduated. It was like 2 years of all these classes that I studied, right? And then I finally got to look at some code. But the first thing you absolutely are going to look at is this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that. You're going to look at your flow. You're going to look at your flow charts and your flow diagrams, and you need to know what all these are. This is very important in software engineering. And this is what you're going to learn right off the back. Like there's programming symbols and stuff. Like the box represents processes, input, output, decision. This is something you need to know. This is the basics, right? But you're gonna when you're first taking this, you're like, what the heck is all this crap? But they break it down simple for you. You know what I mean? And each symbol, and you know how many of these things I wrote that look just like this? Oh my gosh, at least 200, right? In my lifetime, at least 200 of these suckers I've looked at, remade, and this doesn't make any sense to you yet. But once you look at it first, and you understand what you're looking at the very least, when you get an assignment in software engineering and they show you this, at least you've seen it before and you know what it is. You might not have everything memorized because you don't have a lot of experience, but but at least you've seen it before and you know what it's called, right? And then you get experience when you start putting these together or fixing them or whatnot, right? So this class is just great, and it's okay. So programming languages, and it's going to talk about. This is binary right here. This is binary code. So a machine language. I'm sorry. This is machine language, right? It's in binary though. So it's going to tell you what it is. It's zeros and ones. Now this is awesome because this is part of electrical too. Now in electrical, what we do is we tell you what level of electrical creates a 1 and a 0. So 0 is off and 1 is on. Now usually in electricity, it's like less than point something. I can't remember, a 0.05 volts or something like that is off, and then anything above that is on. And that's how on and off, on and off, on and off is how the computer communicates. And this is explaining this to you in an easy way, right? And it's starting from the basics, so you have an idea of what's happening when you're writing the code, right? It's just brilliant. This guy put together a brilliant starting point for programmers, right? And then he goes into some history, basic COBOL, Fortran, and C, right? So you at least know where it comes from when you do C and C++, C#. So it's just a great resource to have. And they always do a summary. Okay, so now let's say, it'll say chapter 1. I don't have one right now, but let's say it's chapter 1. You'll go on there, and then it'll say, the next thing it'll say is, let's take a quiz. And they quiz you on everything you just read, okay? And there's usually about 10 questions or something, and they're not what do you call it? They're not graded, and they're not part of your overall grade. It's just for you to see if you retained any knowledge from what you just read, right? So then if you've got and then it tells you the answers. So if you've got a couple wrong and you go, oh man, I didn't get those right, you need to go back and read that and then retake that test. That's what I did. That's how you truly learn. And you go back and you retake it and you get them right and you go, all right, now I know that. Okay, and then it goes from there. It goes to an assignment. Like this one might not have an assignment, right? Or it might say research the history of this, right, on this one, right? Then you have to do an assignment. And then it takes you to a page after that where you can meet with all your other classmates and you guys can have discussion. you want, right? If you, hey, I didn't understand this, and then the instructor, you can talk to the person and he'll answer your questions and help you through it. I mean, it's just really, really great resource for $120. I mean, it's just, I can't explain. I can't tell you how amazing this is. This is for everybody that wants to learn our program. You don't have to have any experience in it, right? And now I don't know if you could take this to get a job, but you probably could if you were slick enough or you knew how to sell it well enough, right? But that's why this is for what do you call this? Higher education, or what's it called? Continuing education. This is specifically made for people in an industry already, and they need to take classes to learn something else to get a job, and that's exactly what I used it for. That's what's cool about this, right? So here's lesson 2. So we'll go lesson 2. They're talking about Microsoft's .NET framework. Now, when you're reading this, you have no clue what the hell they're talking about .NET framework, right? But later on, you'll be like, I know what .NET framework is now. But they're giving you a sample of it, so if somebody says like, hey, .NET framework, isn't that just like what Microsoft uses? Or whatever, isn't that their framework for their library and their codes and all that, or whatever? So, and this is where they talk about it a little bit, So writing your first C# program. So everybody knows it's Hello World. If you don't know, that's the coolest thing you're ever going to do when you want to get into programming is you program your program language to say Hello World. It's alive now, right? So Hello World it's awesome. I did that and I thought I was the coolest person in the world when I got my program to say Hello World. So this is what it's I mean, it doesn't have to be your first program, but it usually is. That's what the first thing you learn, how to say Hello World. Right? And it's going to show you how to do it. So now, system console outright line, right? This is going to be the code that you're going to write. And then so this actually steps, I think I passed it or something, but it's going to step through like a Visual Studio, dang it, I forget what it's called, IDE, right? And so if you don't know what that means, it's going to tell you what it is, and then it's just basically a console that lets you write your code, and then it types it out and stuff. Or because usually, I mean, how this was done was with command line, right?
Okay, let's go.
And so there's IDEs. I forget what the acronym is for, but there's IDEs right now. I'm trying to think about 1,000 things. Anyways, where you can get on there and like Visual Studio, and then it'll do all that for you, and it's way more efficient. It tells you if you're writing your code right. It's pretty cool. So it tells you how to do stuff, and then here's your, and you can copy and paste this, but I don't recommend that, right? So when you're writing this, you need to be writing this, right? So you need to be actually writing this, and that's what I did. That's the way you're going to learn. So you can actually go here and copy and paste this crap. I don't think you can copy and paste. Yeah, you probably could. So I can come here, right? Copy, there it is, right? Copy and then paste it into my thing, and you're not gonna learn anything like that, trust me. You might, but I don't know. So I went through and I typed all this stuff by hand. That way I understand what I'm doing, right? So that's what I recommend. You type all this by hand, and then it's just you've written your first code, and that's compiling the program. So this shows you how to compile it with different Windows 10, Windows 8. Now this is showing you how to compile it on the command line, right? This is the command line. So this actually starts on the command line, which is awesome. Okay, so that's actually the hardest way to code, right? Command line. So it shows you a picture of command line. And then people kind of get confused and they're like, is that we have to do it from the command line? You don't really. You're going to use those IDEs, right? And I think that's where this lesson 3 comes in, and it tells you actually this is data operator. So, did I skip with the add? So this thing is awesome. So data types and variables. So you're going to come through here, data types and variables. And this is going to explain what the different variables and data types are. What a variable is. This one shows you int has 4 bytes. It's a whole number. Your double is going to be your or like a floating point number. It's going to have a point in it, and whatever. It's a double. Your char is going to be a single Unicode. I have 2 bytes. String is a string of zeros or more characters. Your string is going to be like um, letters, right?
Okay, let's go.
So, and then it just goes through, and so all this stuff is valuable, int age, showing you how to do, and then how to set up a variable. So here's your int age. Okay, and then for your variable declaration, boom, that's how you declare a variable. And variables are the only thing, they're things that like you put, it's like a box and you put something in them, right? And then they become whatever you put in that box. Like, hey, there's a box of whatever, 40 of this or 30 of that. Your age equals 30, so that's the variable is age, and then you're equaling it to 30. So when you use that in your code and you're saying whatever, your age variable, the name is 30, right? This is easy stuff. It breaks it down really easy for you. Really cool. That's all the time I have. So when you go through here, this stuff is awesome, right? This is how I learned to code, and I think it's the best way. The best way I've found. It's affordable. It's continuing educated, so you can actually use it to grow if you already have a job. If you don't have a job and you're just doing this and you learn how to code and you're really proficient at it, you might be able to get a job. If you show them that you put this on your resume, you might be able to. And you take a test and you pass your test and you do very well, and then you show them all, and you can do this, and then it has assignments to where you can pick from different assignments. Like I said, you can write a clock, you can write a calendar, and you can and you can build a little portfolio that has all that stuff in it. And I can guarantee you'll get an entry-level position if you can show that you can program and you've been doing it. Maybe you've been practicing for 2 years and you can sell it, man. I don't guarantee you, but I mean, I guarantee you they'll consider you, right? They might not consider you over somebody with a CS degree, but maybe they'll give you an internship or something. Maybe, hey, you get an internship and then you work your way up. But for people that already have a position, this is great. This is great. This actually worked for me, and I became a software engineer with it. So that's my resources for coding, right? When you're a complete beginner. And this, I would think, is invaluable to cybersecurity professionals. So give this a look, man. I'm gonna take this right here. See, education to go, right? So I'm gonna take that one and I'm gonna paste that into my YouTube description of it, and or whatever, include the link, and you guys can give it a go, look at it, and see what looks good for you and what you think would be good for you to learn. Because I know that a lot of people, I've seen it and I've heard people talk about it. A lot of people are trying to figure out how they can learn how to code, and they want to and then they're like, well, and there's a lot of videos saying, do cybersecurity people have to know how to program? No, you don't, right? It depends. You really don't. If you're in risk management or something like that, or defensive side, you really don't. Okay, you probably don't at all. But if you're in like pen testing, yeah, you do. I think you do, because you need to know how to read HTML5. You need to know how to read Java. You're injecting JavaScript and manipulating web code. So I mean, you're gonna have to know how to read that. And if you don't know how to read that, then you're gonna have one hell of a time learning that for a while. It's gonna be a learning curve that you got to get over, and this is the easiest way to get over it, right? And even if you don't, let's say you're in cybersecurity and you're in risk management. Let's say you do have free time. Wouldn't you want to learn how to program and then start working on like little scripts and stuff on your free time? And so, I mean, that's all part of cybersecurity. That would be fun, I would think, because unless that's not your hobbies, but it should. Yeah, I think it needs to be your hobby, because it's all related. It's all related. Cybersecurity is everything. And in the movies they're going and they're doing all that code. Yeah, I didn't say do that. I said maybe learn how to code, write a vulnerable seeking script, using Nmap or Python or something, or C# and C#. So I ran out of time there, but you guys should check this out. This video was for people trying to learn software programming. It's for people that are trying to learn programming to get a better job, upgrade, get promotion. And it's for people that just want to learn how to program, and cybersecurity professionals, most of all. I think a cybersecurity professional that can program is a lot more valuable. Well, I don't know if it's not more valuable. That's nonsense, because that's what's cool about cybersecurity. You don't have to know a program, but I think that maybe you can maximize your not your value, but your income, right? Because I know that if you do know how to program and you're actually looking at code and whatever, uh, fixing it or troubleshooting it or changing it or whatnot for cybersecurity, I'm sure you're gonna get paid more. That's just common sense, right? This is somebody that doesn't know, and he can't, or they can't do it, and so you're gonna probably get paid more. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video, and this is Hack the File, and you guys keep learning, keep hacking, and have fun.